Thank you so much, Anukriti, and also Association for Asian Studies for talking to me and giving me this opportunity for this interview. Thank you so much. And right now, I'm doing PhD from Department of Communication, University of Hyderabad, and I'm working on pandemic, cultural discourses, and everyday life analysis of Bengali content creation YouTube channels. So I'm from West Bengal, but I'm staying here in Hyderabad to pursue my PhD. And I'm looking at two different YouTube channels. One is on comedy, another is on food, and how they are producing different cultural discourses. I'm looking at the specific time during the pandemic. So the concept is during the pandemic, the normal everyday life concept that has been disrupted. And I have seen a different kind of new set of cultural discourses that have been being produced. So I'm interested in looking into what kind of cultural discourses they are studying, producing, and also how the social, political, cultural environment, these are influencing those kind of cultural discourses. And also the overall process of content creation on YouTube. That's was my aim. Yeah, my case studies are from two different genre. One is food vlogging basically, and another was in comedy. So the comedy is about the everyday life sketches of being Bengali. So this kind of two different genre I have chosen, and I'm looking at how they are projecting the everyday life on YouTube. Yeah, so initially I was working on digital ethics, the area of digital ethics, because there was a lot of cyberbullying and other activities online hampering. So I was interested in that. But I started reading something on the line of digital storytelling. I followed some of the work of Nick Coldry, and then that was a little bit of interest. But there was a difficulty in finding the case study of digital storytelling. So I started exploring different kind of narrative exchange on digital platforms. And so mostly it was user generated platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Then I followed uh, Dr. Ashwin Punathambekar and Sri Ram Mohan's work on Tamil identity and cultural politics about Put Chutney YouTube channel. So that was kind of a perspective I got, and I thought, okay, I can reorient my research towards analyzing the cultural contents about the regional content, the vernacular language content that are being produced on YouTube on these user-generated platforms. So that's how it has begun. So I was also looking for a little bit of work on Bengali content creation overall, especially on YouTube. But there was a very little literature I found. Like there are a lot of literature and work on television content and other kind of cultural film studies, but specifically about on the user generated platforms like YouTube, Instagram. So I thought, okay, I can explore this particular field and work on this. So that's how it's all started. There are other also post-colonial studies and other disciplines who are exploring this kind of cultural text. But also I found interesting in this Chinese content creation and their exploration on micro celebrity, social media influencers. That kind of area also somehow influenced my work. Like Crystal Aberdeen is now working on social media influencers and their self-representation strategies. So the interesting part, I think, living in India at this moment is the golden period. That's how I feel, because it's a lot of change, very much shift in political environment, and also a different kind of cultural discourses are being produced. For example, there is a new rise of populist government in India, we can see. So and witnessing that kind of cultural shift around you, that always adds something new perspective to the lived experience of the researcher. That's how I feel it's very much interesting. And for example, and also I want to mention another thing that whatever research I have seen, mostly while going to the other conferences and all, mostly people talk about global south, researching from global south. But the global south category is also not homogeneous. I feel it's a lot of nuances is there and also a lot of heterogeneity is there. So how do we, if we don't stay and if we don't understand the perspective of different societal categories, for example, on the perspective of caste, religion, gender, and the other, and the intersectionality of those categories, how they influence a particular discourse. So that kind of discourse, I think that influence a lot during in the research, and witnessing a real phenomena at a real time, at a real place, that always adds new perspective. For an instant, I'm working on the cultural context in pandemic. So during the whole pandemic, on the first wave of lockdown for 1 year almost, I stayed in West Bengal. So if I am looking at Bengali content creation, and I'm staying at West Bengal at that moment, at that particular time, and I'm seeing what is happening around me and how it's reflecting or interacting with the cultural discourses of the cultural text. That will always help me to give a better interpretation of the text or better analyzing. To find the research, the gaps in interpretations, what are being presented and what are being misrepresented, or what is invisible. That kind of thing that will be more interesting to look at. And that's, I think, that is wonderful. If someone staying outside and doing research in India, it would be difficult to capture the small things, the small nuances. But when somebody is living and like having this embodied experience while working in this place, so that is something very adds new kind of value to the research that was always felt. Yes, so there are a lot of challenges, of course, because staying in India, and the first problem is there are a lot of lack of resources, like infrastructural resources and other, a lot of problems are there. And also it's difficult because right now in Indian universities, I feel there is a lack of uh, research infrastructure. We don't have that kind of resources that the other universities in Western countries they provide. So there are a lot of challenges, like very basic things. Like people will, I don't know how they will understand these things. Like uh, lack of stable internet connection, or a working space that we really like struggle for literally. So these are very, and also accessing to the different kind of literature and library space, and that is always has been challenging. And also the pandemic, that was a specifically difficult time because all universities were closed at that time, and for 1 year almost. So everybody doesn't come from a privileged background, all the researchers I'm talking about. So cutting off from all these resources and continuing the research, that's the biggest challenge. In Western academia, there are a lot of discussions and there are a lot of conversations happening right now, and uh, they're getting new perspective on how to analyze or learning about new skills or new softwares or new methodology, for example, to know what is how to do research or how to analyze the text or data. But I think we lack that kind of resource and lack that kind of access. So we have to learn on our hard way, own way. Because of this online medium, I got many opportunities to interact with other professors from other universities, like the NYI Global Institute of Cultural Linguistics and Studies. So they offered a lot of courses that helped me a lot. Then I did some research methodology workshop from University of Maastricht. That was also online because I can't afford to go to these places, but I gained those access through online medium. So that was very useful for me. So not specifically Asian studies, but I have taken a lot of summer school courses, winter school courses, from other universities through online, because it was pandemic, it was not possible. Also, I have attended many lectures. So the first research course that I have taken is representation analysis, and I learned some method like critical discourse analysis, social semiotics, framing analysis. So that was one thing, and the others are a lot of ideological or representation analysis through gender and religion, caste. For example, I attended one course from Professor Asma Barlas, Islam and Feminism and Women. So that was also a new kind of thing. I didn't know about this thing, that Islamic feminism is a concept and people work on that. So that also helped me. Then there are other courses on affect theory, which helped me to give a different kind of direction to explore in my research. And also I got many opportunities to present my paper in other conferences in online. Like there was a ICA conference on Digital South Asian conference. So they give a lot of feedback how to improve my work. So that is also adds new kind of perspective and new kind of value to your research. And it's always important to receive feedback or to get critical constructive comment to improve research. So that's helped a lot. I am in this sense very privileged being in the University of Hyderabad. So we have this kind of discussions and conversations with other social scientists, from other research scholars from anthropology, sociology, political science, or economics. So that kind of interaction is happening in our campus. So that is a bit of a privilege, but I have visited to other universities, but there is a lack to focus on those things. Yeah, thank you so much for having me and also for this interview. Um, like I would be really happy if because we struggle a lot because of the accessing different kind of resources. I'd be very happy if AAS provide the access resources to the scholars who are staying in India or working. It's not like that. I feel the Indian scholars who are working and they're very talented. It's not like they are not working and they're very diligent. I know because of my peer groups and other colleagues I am seeing around, but it's just they don't get the platform, the proper network, the resources. It's not always possible to go physically to the Western countries and other countries where the Asian studies is actually happening. So I think I will be very happy if AS provides such kind of opportunities by providing scholarships, more travel grants, and more access to the scholars who are staying in India right now.
Absolutely. Your feedback is very important. And thank you so much for sharing your work and your projects, and all the very best. It was wonderful talking with you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderfully talking to you, Anu.